progress.
South African psychotherapist and poet Azriel Rachel once wrote, "Peculiarly enough, our need to belong is also tied in with our need to be different and unique. Our sense of community clashes with our fear of difference. We want to belong to our tribe or our family and to feel loved and cherished. Our desire for connection and love runs deep, so much so that we may compromise who we are in order to belong. This doesn't create real connection, and we can end up feeling lonelier with people than we would have if we had stayed true to ourselves." This paradox, this longing to belong and the longing to be ourselves, touches every corner of our lives. And it shapes the way we build beloved community in our congregation. Today, I want to reflect on that delicate dance between belonging and authenticity, between the deep human longing to be embraced by community and the equally deep need to be ourselves without compromise. This is not only a personal struggle, but a congregational one, shaping the kind of beloved community we are called to build. From our earliest days, we are yearning to belong, whether we know how to name it or not. As children, we seek the safety of family, the affirmation of friends, the recognition of teachers. As adults, we see it in workplaces, friendships, social circles, and spiritual homes. Evolutionary psychologists tell us that belonging is hardwired into us. Our ancestors survived by sticking together. Safety in the tribe meant protection from predators, shared food, shared labor. Belonging was not optional. It was survival. That need is still in us. When someone remembers our name at coffee hour, when a friend checks in after a hard week, when we feel welcomed and included, we feel whole. There is another truth. We do not just want to belong, we also want to be known. We long not only to be accepted, but to be accepted as ourselves. Here is the tension. Sometimes belonging feels conditional. To fit in, we may smooth our edges, hold back our truth, or stay silent when our heart wants to speak. Brene Brown reminds us, fitting in is becoming who you need to be in order to be accepted. Belonging requires us to be who we are. Think about the times in your own life when you had to fit in. Maybe in high school when you wore clothes that were really not you, just to avoid standing out. Maybe at work when you bit your tongue instead of sharing an idea because it might sound too unusual. Maybe even in church when you hesitated to speak up in a small group for fear your view would not fit the majority. Fitting in is exhausting. It may earn us a seat at the table, but it does not nourish us. True belonging, on the other hand, allows us to breathe fully, to speak with our authentic voice, to know we are loved not in spite of our differences, but with them. Authenticity sounds simple, it is often the harder path. To be authentic means to risk vulnerability. What if people don't like the real me? What if my questions, my accent, my family background, my identity, my theology, my doubts, what if these make me too different? This is why beloved community is so radical. It calls us to create a space where authenticity is not only tolerated, but cherished, where difference is not seen as a threat, but as a gift, where we don't have to choose between being ourselves and belonging. We can have both. This balance of belonging and authenticity is especially important when we welcome new members. Think about it. When someone visits for the first time, they are carrying two questions in their heart. Will I belong here? And can I be myself here? Think about your first time in a UU church, or this church in particular. What were the questions you were asking of the congregation before you decided to make this place your home? If the answer to the first question, will I belong here, is yes, but the second answer to can I be myself here is no, then they may stay for a while, but never truly invest. They will always be half present, afraid to show their true selves. But if the answer to both is yes, yes, you belong, and yes, you can be yourself, then they will begin to pour their gifts, their stories, their presence into the life of the congregation. That is how beloved community grows. So every handshake, every small group circle, every committee meeting is an opportunity to embody this truth. You are welcome, and you don't have to hide to be welcome. And our congregations must be places of belonging, not mere fitting in. So what does that mean for us here in this congregation today? It means our work is not only to welcome people through our doors, but to cultivate a culture where authenticity is safe, where you can bring your whole self, your doubts, your faith, your grief, your joy, your political views, your identities, your questions, and know that you will be met with love. It means resisting the temptation to smooth over differences for the sake of comfort. It means leaning into the awkwardness of honest conversation. It means practicing listening, not listening to reply. It means asking ourselves hard questions. Do we sometimes unintentionally ask to fit in instead of truly belong? Do we make assumptions about what a real UU looks like, believes? Do we let our desire for harmony silence the our midst? When people feel pressured to fit in rather than belong, connection breaks down. We have all known the loneliness of being in a room full of people but still unseen. That loneliness is sharper than solitude. It is the loneliness of disconnection. Congregations can either deepen that loneliness or heal it. Our choice is to be healers. How do we do this? By practicing intentional acts of welcome. Not just saying hello at the door, but showing genuine curiosity about who someone is. Asking names, pronouns, stories, making rooms for newcomers to be themselves. Remembering that what binds us is not uniform belief, but our promises to treat one another with dignity and care. That covenant makes room for difference, creating safe space for people to share their stories, doubts, hopes, journeys. Authenticity grows when stories are heard, encouraging newcomers not just to attend, but to share their unique talents. Each person brings something the community did not have before. When newcomers discover they are not just tolerated, but that their uniqueness strengthens the fabric of this church, they begin to belong and to invest. The world beyond our walls wrestles with this same tension. Many voices today promise belonging, but only if you conform, only if you look, think, or vote like the group. That is not true belonging. It is fear disguised as community. When belonging and authenticity come together, something holy happens. We discover that love is not conditional. We discover that diversity is not a threat, but a blessing. We discover that connection is possible without conformity. This is the gift of beloved community, a place where we are held, challenged, accepted, and transformed. Friends, the world needs such communities desperately. In a time when loneliness is epidemic, when division runs deep, where people long for connection but fear rejection, we can offer something rare, a spiritual home where belonging and authenticity meet. The theologian Howard Thurman once wrote, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive and go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive." So let us build that vibrant community together. Let us build a congregation where no one has to choose between being themselves and being embraced. Let us build a community that loves not only our similarities, but our differences. May this be the work of our hearts, the labor of our hands, and the joy of our spirits. And may we know that in doing so, we are not only creating a congregation, we are building beloved community, one authentic belonging. Amen. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Thank you all so much.